Yeah, I'm gonna take you from my mind again and talk about how I made a short film. As a filmmaker, I always get lost, triggered, and overall wish people would share their overall experiences on how to make a short film, and that's exactly what I'm doing. If you don't recall, I did this on my last short film, Chronometer, and have since then made my latest short film, The Final Push. The Final Push was a major success in terms of viewership and reviews, and it's overall my most personal work yet, so there's no surprise I really want to talk about it. Once again, this is not a behind the scenes featurette about the film. This is literally from beginning to end, how I made a short film, what I faced, and what I learned from it. But who's the guy sitting down to talk? I agree, so let's go where it all started. So in January of 2021, I was sitting here doing online school. It was about as boring as you imagine. Except for my cinematography class. I have major respect for my cinematography prof, and I really wanted to learn from him. And within the first week of school, he assigned something called 1 minute short film. Yeah, really creative on his part. And as soon as that assignment was giving out, I was really hungry to make something, so I got to work. However, I tried to write ideas down here, but I work in this office all day, so nothing was really coming out. That's so much better. It was here I played attendant vinyl and started sketching out ideas. And that was the hardest part at first. I had no idea what I wanted to make, so that's the first question I asked myself. So that's what I did. I wrote down what I wanted the short to be and what I did not want the short to be, and it really ended up organizing my ideas. For example, I did not want to manipulate time again, but I also knew I wanted to make a more grounded, more personal story. But then I was like, wait, what type of personal or grounded story did I want to tell? So I wrote down a couple themes including recovery and a new focus. And then ideas suddenly took place because in 2020, I had two instances where I needed recover. Once where my leg was strained because of a 10K I attempted, to be honest, and once where I had no surgery. So yeah, I had my experiences. Now safe to say, ideas were finally coming through, but I needed more inspiration, and the only film that came to mind was Creed 2. Yeah, I love Creed 2, but I've not seen it since I saw it in the movie theater. So I had a night to myself, popped the movie in, watched it, and I cracked the code. Creed 2 is literally a movie about our highs of highs and our lowest of lows and how we crawl out of it. And more than ever to that point in my life, I really related to the movie, and I would argue it's just as good as the first one. Basically, I wanted to visualize recovery and how we get out of it, and that's what finally got me to write The Final Push. Now, I won't lie, my first few drafts of The Final Push were kind of rough. I had a draft where someone was on the ground crying and trying to get up. It didn't really sit well with me after 24 hours. So I consulted my older brother, an experienced runner, and he gave me some overall good feedback that improved the script. After hearing the feedback, I made the short about what comes before the run and the whole visual recovery process of it. But I needed an actor for this, so... Sam, wanna be my next short film?
Sure.
Let's go. Once I got him on board, I invested in some film equipment, I bought an ND filter for outside shots, and then in the middle of February, filming began. But instead of my biased view of how filming went, let's actually talk to my older brother, the star of the movie, and see what he thought about it. Yeah, I kinda screwed up in that part. My older brother moved to Vancouver before I could really interview him, so that never happened, and we can't get him on board. But what we can do is basically go over the filming process instead. So filming really began outside my house from my garage. It really was the simplest part. We shot there for an hour. I used a 50mm lens. I got some really nice out of blur shots, multiple angles. That wasn't the hardest part. That was pretty easy. That went pretty smooth. But honest to God, the inserts were really the hardest part because I'm not gonna lie, my older brother was really busy. He has school, I have school, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really prep as good as I thought I would. Like, if there was 5 fair minutes, I'd be like, film, let's go. I'd be really insistent, and it didn't really turn out that great. Actually, it turned out great, just not in my mind because I'm rushing it. I'm very doubtful as a filmmaker. I'm very insecure sometimes. That part didn't really go great because I was really rushing through it instead of taking my time in the moment, breathing, planning everything out. No, honestly, if I had spare 5 minutes, I would go record. I was stressed out. That's not a great way to record, and I really felt it in the moment. However, looking back though, I did my job. I directed the film. It turned out great in the editing room. But I won't lie, looking back, that's one thing I wish I kind of did better. Planning a bit more of the filming beforehand because I was kind of rushing these shots as it went. Anyways guys, that isn't what I had to say with the filming. let's report back to the editing room in an unnecessarily far angle. From there, I then proceeded to post-production. However, long before I edited a single frame of the movie, I did two things. Firstly, I reunited my composer from Chronometer and really had a great meeting. I wanted to use breaths as an instrument to build up intensity, and we saw eye to eye, and that turned out great. But second, I really wanted to use color correcting to tell different moods and tell the story visually, but I didn't know really much at that point, so I got to work. So I took a Skillshare course, not a sponsorship by the way, and I learned so much about color correcting, and from there, I was finally ready to start editing the movie. Editing was not that hard of a process because I really knew the overall structure I wanted to hit, so I'm really here to talk about the color correcting process. Early on in the process, I decided to shoot this movie raw, so I have so much control over the color correcting process, and from there, I was able to figure out in post what type of mood did I want to tell. So basically what I figured out was to make the parts where Haskell got the injury in a cold / green look, the moments in strength in a warmer / pinkish look, and a pure cold look where he takes off. This was because I really want the colors to identify what stage of the recovery process what character was in, and overall show a great progressive journey through using colors. And then from there, I finished the film, showed my class, and released it a few days later in secret. I will say, looking back, the reception I got really blew me away, and I'm still really proud of the movie. My main goal with the final push was to make a movie about hope in people's most darkest, most painful moments, and people who have had experience with that came up to me and said, you really nailed that part, and you really nailed that part of recovery. So I'm really grateful for that part. However, I did make some overall mistakes in terms of rushing certain shots and moments. It really caused some stress during the shooting and really made me self-doubt the shooting process. Like, I was grateful even came out great during the editing room. So even though it was a bit of a bumpy ride during the shooting, I will say the final product turned out great, and it really shows you can really do anything if you set your mind to it. Anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching my next YouTube video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give me a subscribe, like the video, click on the notification bell for alerts on brand new videos, and then comment below, tell me you guys thought the video. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video.